So about a year ago, I actually started wanting to work on my own game. I love like games like RuneScape, Path of Exile, Diablo. Been working on this World War II roguelite game where it's a Wolfenstein meets Boxhead meets Path of Exile and Balatro. So kind of mixed bag. Initially, I had an idea of a voxel 3D kind of Minecrafty inspired thing, making it simple where you're the last remaining US soldier, trying to fight off the Axis powers, secure a island, and I was going to do it like a 3D. Then I started playing with Unreal Engine and realized how much of a pain in the butt that was going to be, and was probably a little bit outside of my scope for just starting on game development or really taking a passion into it. I think going with Unreal Engine, I'm going to put a pin in it for now. I then jumped into big hype of early 2025, I think late 2024, 2025 was the vibe coding games with 3 JS in the browser. I gave that a spin. It's cool in the sense that you get to get something that's relatively playable. It's slop at the end of the day. It's AI, pure AI slop, but I think it was a good way to show me a proof of concept of something that I was potentially interested in. It was still so much slop that I can't really attest to much of it. But then what I realized is like, okay, 3D, if I'm not, obviously I'm not going to do 3JS, and if I'm not going to do Unreal Engine, I'm probably not also going to do Unity. So at that point, I'm like, I guess I will just stick to 2D. And where I ended up leaving off was I started doing a JavaScript prototype of like, I guess it was a 3/4 top down 2D, and started building out this JavaScript stuff. So once I got that foundation built out, where I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty good for it still being like ultra prototype, bare bones. I'm like, there is a mechanic here that I like. So then I started building something, and I do have all the versions from then to now, so I will actually do a time-lapse video at some point if this is something of interest. And ultimately, yeah, I've been building it off of a Love 2D engine now. And the pivot to the Love 2D was I wanted to not focus on like a editor and multiple windows and such like that with like a Unity or Godot. I figured that with the Love 2D I could stay here, build off of this, and you know, Balatro and even other games have done full-fledged games in Love 2D, so I figured I'm like, you know, if people have used this, then there's nothing wrong with sticking to it. Obviously, it's better than JavaScript. JavaScript is not designed to make games, so as you can see, there's tons of changes done. There's a title screen. I even have like a loading screen. We have a leveling progression system, something called like the war table, where I take a lot of my passion with like my interest with Path of Exile was I wanted something very big, something daunting. And so I wanted to make this replayability where you could kind of build out your character, but there was no rules to it. And for those of you that ever played like Path of Exile or Diablo, you know, you get rewarded for more complicated runs, but ultimately you can complicate your runs to make them more rewarding. And so with the free play, there is like how would I put it, a seed map generation. So you can have infinite maps to seed and play on. I'm still improving that, still adding for more enemies and working on enemy types. You're able to get materials by chopping down trees, breaking down cars, mining ores. A lot of it is still early. I am possibly or probably gonna drop some of these mechanics or simplify them. I am not entirely sure yet. There's a shop where you could buy guns and ammo. You could craft turrets that will shoot and protect you. You know, obviously, if you want to track your stats and so forth, you can track your stats just to kind of see what multipliers and such that you have. There's like a build that your character is going in towards. There's grenades. There's airstrikes. I plan on adding a lot of cool, fun stuff. But now in the game, there's the consistent, like the in-game or in-run leveling progression where you could get atomic rounds, hollow point damage that causes proc bleed, or like stacking bleed damage. You could get ricochet rounds that bounce off of enemies that damage other enemies. You could just get damage resistance. There's a lot. And I kind of went a hog wild, and I kind of regret even making this video this late in, because there is just so much that I've done. You know, it is a progress. I wanted to make this progress video and kind of explain why I wanted to do this. You know, I don't know if there's another game like this that is like covering all the bases that I have. So I just wanted to make a game that I really enjoyed, and I wanted to share it with you guys to see if this would be something that would be of, you know, you'd be interested in, and what, you know, recommendations or things that you see that I should change. There's some, you know, things that I'm really dead set on. For the most part, as of right now, I just want to see what things people are thinking about. You know, I've been working on other game modes, so other than a free mode, you know, there's more objective based ones like protecting a city on a beach, which is more so of what the original idea was all about, was that you're on a beach or an island in the outskirts and you're just trying to hold off and survive and protect your base and region. So very similar in that front, but obviously I'm expanding upon it. Then I did a CQB mode where you're in a little town, like a home, and you're trying to protect that home from enemies breaking in. Just wanted to share this. If you guys happen to have any questions or want to share thoughts or want to see anything in particular, just leave a comment down below and let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and take care.